Hello, my name is Ilse Kleijer. Together with Charlene, we designed the gorgeous products for the Art Journal specials. In the meantime, I'm showing you these gorgeous junk journals. This is also a super cool way to use as an art journal, mixing old and new collections of the new Art Journal specials. And that is also the reason why there is a die set in the new release, so you now can easily make your own junk journal. I already die cut some pages out of the new paper set. Next to these beautiful edges, there is one die for the front and the back with a kind of lace look. The holes are already at a good distance and the edges are on purpose separate. Now you can make your own length. You can die cut all the pages with the edge die with holes, but you can also use it as a template. If you use this as a die, the holes are at a good distance of course, but also large enough that your needle can easily pass through the holes. You probably already know how to die cut pages, so I'm going to show you the way of using it as a template. The pages are already with a correct width. I put the whole edge right at the end of this page with the top up. If you are afraid that your page moves secretly when you turn it upside down, you can of course stick it together with a little piece of washi. You can use a push pin or a sharp pointed needle to pierce the holes into your paper. You can use the holes in the die as a template. You can now see that the holes are the same as with the cutted papers. I'm going to pierce a few pages together, saving time for making art. Make sure that the pages remain the same, otherwise you won't have your pages right in your booklet. When you pierce a few pages together, it's useful to use the washi to stick them together. When I am done with piercing, I align the bottom and the side with each other and secure them with a clipper. This way the pages stay together. Now I make sure that I have enough thread. About 6 times this width is enough to bind this booklet. I'm going to bind this booklet with a Japanese binding stitch. I start in the second hole. I let the thread stick out on the back, so later I can attach charms to it. I wrap the thread around the booklet and insert the needle at the back through the second hole. If you use another kind, not so fluffy thread, it's probably easier to bind, but I like this kind of thread too much for this booklet. At the front I put the needle aside to the third hole. My thread is now at the back. I turn my thread around the booklet and insert the needle through the same hole at the front. At the back, I put the needle to the side and through the fourth hole to the front again. I've wrapped the thread around the booklet and insert it into the same hole from the back to the front. At the front, I put the needle to the side and through the fifth hole to the back. I've wrapped the thread around the booklet and insert it into the same hole from the front to the back. At the back I put the needle to the side and through the sixth hole to the front. I've wrapped the thread around the booklet and insert it into the same hole from the back to the front. At the front I put the needle to the side and through the seventh hole to the back. I've wrapped the thread around the booklet and insert it into the same hole from the front to the back. At the back, I put the needle to the side and through the 8th hole to the front. I've wrapped the thread around the booklet and insert it into the same hole from the back to the front. This is the last stitch, but there are still gaps between the threads. Zigzagging, we go back to the 2nd hole. First, wrap the thread around the end, then zigzag back and forth from front to back and vice versa. Sometimes the pages are a little bit thick together, and when your needle don't pass easy, you can easily help it. Put your top of the needle on your table, fingers around it, and push a little bit on the paper. This way your needle gets that little bit of extra help to pass along the thread through the holes. When you don't want your thread to go nuts, I mean of course not together, you may use some other kind of thread. Wax thread is a good alternative. It's smooth and won't knot together. So, here we are, almost back at hole number 2. In this 2nd hole, your thread is on the front. You now put the needle to the side to the 1st hole to the back. I've wrapped the thread around the booklet and put it back in the same hole. I've wrapped the thread around the side end of the booklet in the 1st hole to the back. At the back I insert the needle in the 2nd hole. Now all stitches are filled. By putting the thread between the same pages as where you started, you can tie the threads together and your book is ready. Ready to be filled with some gorgeous art. And of course you can use all of the products of our art journal specials into this fun handmade junk journal. I hope you liked this 2nd demo. I for sure had fun to show you this new set of the art journal specials which we designed for Elizabeth Craft Designs. Of course, I hope you have as much fun with our products as we when we created them. And of course, I hope to see your awesome projects in one of our Facebook groups.